What's that?
I said, what the fuck happened?
Sorry. Editing, man. Editing.
None of my shit's working now.
I'm eating pizza.
You want to go back off for a second?
Yeah, hold on. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Let me just close and reopen it.
What's up, bozos? This is Trevor Outlaw, but you can address me as yours rudely. And you're listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast with DB, Primo, and AJ.
Hey, yo.
If I can be serious for a minute.
Oh, yeah. Acknowledge me.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Come on in. Sit down to the new and improved Sit Down Marks podcast, number 148 of the Sit Down Marks podcast. This one's going to be called Big Two, Then Who? This one right here, man, we're going to be talking in the Dropkick discussion today. We're going to be talking about wrestling outside of the big promotions, such as AEW and WWE. So we're going to be talking about everything outside of it, such as NWA, MLW, New Japan, and more. Big stuff coming on the way. I want to thank everybody for watching on YouTube and Facebook right now. And I want to thank everybody listening on Apple, Spotify, SportsWire Radio, all those podcast platforms out there, man. We are excited, man. And thank you, everybody, for joining us if you're checking us out for the first time. So I am DB, your host of the Sit Down Marks podcast. Stands for Dirty Bird, in case you didn't know. And let me talk to my Marks here on the panel. So we're going back to old school introductions. He is back, Lucha Daddy himself, the co-host on the East Coast. Primo, how you doing, brother?
It's Lucha Daddy, baby. I am back, and it is episode 148. Man, 148, almost to 150. Next month is the 4-year anniversary. We're all back again. I'm liking this frequency of how we're bringing the pod back this year in 2025, putting out more content.
Yeah,
I'm excited to talk about some MLW today. I did a lot of research this week.
Yeah, man, I'm excited too, man. Yeah, so it's the pod is kind of old school new. A lot of old things are coming back. A lot of new things are happening on the pod, but. That one guy, if you're an old fan of the pod, he's been on us with us for a really long time, but he's straight out of your mama's kitchen. You know who he is.
I totally forgot about
that. Straight out of your mama's kitchen, somewhere in Bliskettville. My buddy AJ, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
I was just in the kitchen. I got called out for it. Yeah, we need pizza.
Yeah.
And thank you, Chris, for yelling at me for eating pizza. I'm sorry. And no, I didn't bring enough for the class. It's my pizza. You guys fuck off.
And he is the most traveled and biggest and most recognizable indie wrestling fan in the Midwest. I'll say it because he won't. And he's on our podcast now, man. You got to check him out, man. Check him out. Dylan, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
I am doing great. Good to be back with you boys. Excited to talk some wrestling. Fired up. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, man, we are too, man. Lots of stuff to get to. So, boys, if you're ready, Primo, if you're ready, man, let's get to this hot start, brother. 5 topics in the world of pro wrestling. So this one's for all of us here to begin. So recent AEW WWE releases. Let me hit the list. First AEW, just a couple of mains. There might have been more, but Malachi Black. We just talked about Miro on the last pod. He got released. We're all happy about that. And Ricky Starks already showing up on another promotion. We'll talk about that. But being released from WWE, Sonya Deville, Blair Davenport, Cedric Alexander, Authors of Pain, again, Paul Ellering, and Fabian Eichner. There might have been more to the list, but it seems like there's a certain time of the season, certain time of the year when these releases happen, and they're inevitable. They kind of have to happen, right?
So are they just going to swap rosters? Like, is everyone released from WWE just going to go straight to AEW? And honestly, I don't care about anyone else from AEW except Miro. Like, if he ends back up at WWE, that's the only person I will care about. I don't care about Cody. I don't care about Seth. I don't care about Shinsuke Nakamura anymore. Give me more Rusev.
I like that. I never thought I'd heard.
You are wrong.
I never thought I heard that come out of your mouth about less Nakamura and more somebody else. Like,
he's a fucking
in
jobber.
Your genes.
It is. I'm just kidding, Shinsuke. I love you.
The realization is jumping in. So yeah.
I'm gonna eat more pizza.
All right. Topic number 2, AJ. I'm gonna stay with you on this one, brother.
Woo.
So, former WWE headquarters Titan Towers in Stamford, Connecticut, was sold for $3.75 million, and it will reportedly be turned into a big old apartment building. Do you think it'd be pretty cool to have an apartment at the old Titan Towers?
I'm not gonna lie, I would rent an apartment there just based on that exact reasoning.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna be shitty. Like, it's an office building converted into apartments. Do you think that ever works well? No, they're gonna overcharge, and I would pay it.
You think they'll market it like this was Vince's office? This is
where all the scandals happen.
This is where all the alleged badness went down.
I was gonna say, what if they themed each apartment? But
yeah. I mean, they had a pay-per-view there. Like, what was it? One of the Money in the Banks? I think the one that
on the roof.
one?
Yeah.
On the roof.
Yeah. So, like, have like a Money in the Bank apartment on the roof. Like, that would be fucking awesome. Like, Rey Mysterio got chucked over that.
And the old one, they filmed an old 90s commercial up there.
Yeah, Super Bowl commercial. Yeah.
Wild, man. So cool. So cool. All right, so Primo, jump over to you, man, for topic number 3.
Jump.
Michelle McCool just recently got announced as the WWE Hall of Fame. You like that?
You're not enough for me. Oh no, just another man in love with me. Just another man.
I don't care.
Hey.
So congrats to Michelle McCool. The coolest thing about that announcement was Triple H surprising them, and Undertaker was kind of almost in tears watching his wife get told she's being in the Hall of Fame. That was the coolest part for me, because in my real life, I'm my wife's biggest fan, so I could only imagine in their marriage that he's super happy for her. So that was cool. But other than that, I mean, you remember back in the day when her and Layla and Lay Cool, they were being bullies to... hold on. Before I say the name, let me find the button. Mickey James. Well, recently that actually came out that they were being told to say all those rude and ugly things. And every single time they told her what they were going to say. And even after they told her, after the segment was over, they'd still go back and apologize profusely because they felt like shitbags. Yeah.
Right.
Because, I mean, they were saying obviously some very rude things and some things that people deal with every day. And it's not very fun to hear. So anyway, that was a cool little story I read recently. I didn't hear it. They don't talk to me. But yeah, no, I think it's cool. Is she the second one we've heard from this class?
Triple H being the first?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sorry,
Primo.
go ahead.
Hey, Primo. I'm also your wife's biggest fan.
You can't be okay. You could be second biggest.
Y'all can be tag team. No, but the Demolition So Demolition got announced
Yeah.
too as signing like a Legends contract. I feel like they might get the nod this year too, possibly.
Yeah,
Do y'all think
for
that-
the
y'all
longest
think
time, they were like part of that like concussion lawsuit or some kind of lawsuit. And that's why
Right.
everybody said they weren't in yet. But man, like Demolition, like they have to be in the Hall of Fame. That's pure 80s, 90s nostalgia. How's Demolition not in the Hall of Fame?
All right, now let's circle back. I was saying you guys could be the tag team and be Kimmy's biggest fans. I know you guys were going to stop laughing until I
Oh
addressed
my god!
this.
And what's even
You
better
broke
is
them.
my brother comment on it too. So. I'm crying
sorry,
over
bro.
here.
Sometimes things just come out wrong, you know.
Oh,
so, but
Mrs. Primo, I'm so sorry.
yes, we are.
Got most
We-
respect for you.
We meant it in good intentions. All right, Dylan, let's hop to you, man. So recently, Triple H just announced the WWE belts, WWE IDs. If you're watching right now on YouTube and Facebook, I just put these up on the screen. Check them out, man. Tell me what you think initially, man. It looks like maybe the blacks for the men and the white leathers for the women. So looks pretty solid, man.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, no, the belts are cool. We just don't have enough titles in wrestling, so I'm glad we're adding 2 more.
Right.
We definitely needed those. I'm kind of torn on it. Being a big indie guy, I don't want a WWE belt to become like the new top prize on the independents. I don't want that to be the goal everybody's reaching for. We got to have the WWE ID belt.
Right.
But if they are going to continue to do this and start that Evolve show we talked about last time, you do kind of need something to be fighting for. Like everybody can't just be fighting to be like the first guy signed to NXT or whatever that goal would be. So in that case, I do like it. I'm just a little worried about what it could mean for the indies in general.
True.
Okay,
True.
I'm glad this belt got brought up because I was very confused by. First of all, isn't it kind of an oxymoron, like the WWE Indie title? So
yeah,
explain this to me. It's going to be a title like on the independent scene, and only unsigned wrestlers can win it? I was very confused. How does this work? Like, what is? It seems like completely baffling to me.
I'm assuming, haven't talked to my good friend Paul about it yet this week, but
could you write him a letter?
It would just be
you know Papa H?
H.
Yeah, very close friends.
Look at you pronouncing your H's like Finn Balor.
Assuming it would just be the WWE ID'd prospects defending it against the other prospects.
A couple things.
I don't know.
Yeah. So number one, how funny would it be if this was the one time they switched it and white was for women, or white was for men and black was for women? Anyway, but second, it just, back in the day when somebody would get one of those cheap label makers for their birthday and they went around the house labeling and everything. That's what this is. That's what this reminds me of. Like, we don't even need this. It's a belt with literally a label of what you are on the front of it. Like, it's ugly. And now you got to carry around this piece of hardware for WWE.
Right.
Like, okay, I think it's kind of dumb.
And it says to me, this says that you're going to be on the indies longer. Is what this says to me.
Yeah.
You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
go promote our shit out there.
Yeah. Like that's kind of what I took it as too.
Yeah.
Like here, you're basically a walking advertisement for us now.
Yeah.
on
Right.
the indies.
Right.
Thanks.
Exactly. Yeah. Interesting. So yeah, but I mean, I don't think they look bad. I wouldn't put them in the top 25 of any belts ever made, but I mean, they're all right, I guess. They do what they need to do. I'm assuming. So, all right.
I definitely know what they represent. That's for sure. You can say it right on the front.
Yeah. Let me stick with you here on this, Dylan. But I want to say how cool it was that Michael Cole Monday Night Raw. I don't remember who did the moonsault and battery. But Michael Cole referenced an independent wrestler on WWE Raw that's never been signed the WWE ever, as far as I remember. I don't even know these ever had a shot at NXT. Anyway, his name's Shane Mercer. He said he has this move called Moonsault and Battery, where he's basically, he does like a Samoan drop, but off the top rope, and he turns it into a flip and lands on top of his. He's super agile as fuck. Like it's amazing sometimes, and dude is jacked all the shit, man. But this was cool, man. This was like, I'm like, this is cool how far we've come, that Michael can reference a guy, that hasn't even been on the big stage. But I thought that was cool as fuck, man. That popped me.
Yeah, it was Logan Paul Rey Mysterio. So I wasn't fully paying attention, and just heard him say something about the Iron Demon. And I was like, wait a second, what just happened?
Yeah.
And I had to go back and see what it was. And it was cool how it was like a if you know kind of thing. Like he didn't stop and be like, oh, that's indie wrestler Shane Mercer's move. It was
right.
Just if you know what he's talking about, you got it, and you probably freaked out because it's very cool. But I popped huge for that.
Yeah, because he said Shades of the Iron Demon. He didn't say Shane Mercer, but I think he said Shades of the Iron Demon, Moonsault and Battery, and I think the Hurricane actually named that for Shane like a long time ago.
I saw him. Yeah,
heard him
talking about that.
Yeah. All right, let's get to topic number 5 here, guys. We're going to talk about AEW and NXT Judgment Day. First, let's start with NXT Judgment Day. I did check it out because a guy by the name of Ricky Starks is there now. His name is Ricky. Is it Ricky Saint or Ricky Saints?
Saints
Of the Nest.
More than one. He's more than one Saint.
Or possessive. Maybe they're talking about
or Boondock.
Yes.
Yeah, he's plural. Oh. So, any notes from NXT Judgment Day for you guys?
Vengeance Day, right?
What I say? Independence Day, Judgment Day.
Judgment
I'm sorry.
You're just naming movies.
All the days. Valentine's Day.
Not even the 4th of July.
NXT President's Day.
Yeah. Will Smith movies aren't that good. What? All right.
They're really not.
I like Will Smith movies.
There's a few. All right, so NXT Judgment Day, the one that kind of jumped out to me, man, is like watching Obafemi just manhandle 2 other dudes that are, just this dude, man, man, what the fuck is up with you pervs tonight, man? Like, what the hell? Is it me?
I couldn't help it. I saw Primo's face and I was like, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is manhandling 2 dudes.
Manhandling dudes.
Big meaty men slapping meats and
Big
grabbing
meaty man
meats.
slapping
Oh, my goodness.
No, but
Okay,
yeah, he beat up on Waller in theory. But you guys have any? Did you guys check out NXT at all?
I did. I like how they didn't ever they never introduced Ricky Saints as Ricky Starks or anything like that. They just purposely didn't say his name until after he finally signed that contract and they zoomed in on it. That was, I guess, a cool way to do that. Name is fine. I'm sure it'll grow on us. Whatever.
Right.
Also, he finally showed up and he came into the NXT ring eye to eye with Obafemi, and man, like I text you whenever it happened. That is money all over.
Yeah, we're interested now, right?
Yeah.
I liked the women's 4-way that main evented the pay-per-view or whatever we have to call it now, premium live event. Women's 4-way was good. The ending with Julia and Stephanie and Jordan Grace all being in the ring, that was pretty cool. Introducing this new era of NXT we're building into.
Yeah. I totally dug it too, man. Yeah, the women's 4-way too. Chris Johnson said in the chat, man, is definitely one of those big matches. He had to check that one out. So all right, so AEW Grand Slam.
Sorry, I didn't. I just thought of this as you were finishing that up.
Sure.
Why does the new I don't know how to say this properly, but the new women that they're bringing in, that they're introducing, like Dylan just said, I mean, we already know them as established stars elsewhere. So it feels like the new, you'd had this long string of women that we all came to know and love, and then here for a little bit, it's been like, okay. And now they're bringing in these stars now that we know. So it's like it seems like the women's division in NXT is back on the uptick.
Right.
Like I can't remember personally. I haven't been that interested in the women's roster on NXT except for the same interest of that HBK has. But personally, I haven't really paid that much attention to it since Mandy Rose left. So
fair.
I mean, I think the names they're bringing in now, it's like we're bringing a lot of attention now to it.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. All right, so AEW Grand Slam, boys. I thought this was a good show, man. They did this one over in Brisbane, Australia, man. I was pumped for it. Looks like they had to substitute a smaller ring in. It almost looked like an independent wrestling size ring, maybe even smaller, man. It was, I don't know what happened there, but I guess it was just big enough to get the job done. I noticed a lot of the matches they worked outside a good bit, on some of them. So might have been the plan, but I dug Okada Matthews. I love Tony Storm winning the title. What else did you guys like here?
Opening tag match. Sorry, go ahead, AJ.
I actually liked the small ring because it made everyone look like giants. Like like you don't really think about, like perspective wise, because WWE rings and AEW rings they're huge. But then you put like you don't think Okada's going to be that big, but then you put him in a teeny tiny little ring and he looks like an absolute monster. I got a kick out of that for some reason.
I saw somebody online say that it looked like that's that same ring that Andre rode to the ring.
Oh, I dig that, man. That's
everybody in the road's funny. Just like
that's funny.
Oh, man,
regular
good
speed.
stuff.
The opening tag match, the Kenny and Ospreay versus Takeshita and Fletcher. That's the guy's name. That was really good. I thought Harley Cameron had a really great outing in her home country there with Mercedes. And AEW knows how to do the big shows. They do a good job with those. It's all the in between stuff that they struggle with.
Yeah. So I thought it was a pretty good show too. But what I want to focus on, man, is actually what happened last night. So Toni Storm got to come out and do her acceptance speech. They said she was a 4-time champion now. So I was like, damn, that's quick. But man, she is. I've loved since she's turned back into Timeless. Toni Storm. It's really kind of got me like really into everything that she's doing. And she did a promo on Dynamite last night, man, that I was probably one of the best, for her gimmick and what she's doing right now and winning the title and moving forward. Like this was one of the best promos I've heard in a long time, man. And this is how you do it in character work right here, man. Like I was super impressed by this, man. So, just that she just kind of put this all together, it was basically a perfect promo for this situation, man. I thought she really leveled up. So let's take a listen at this acceptance speech.
This whore you all adore, this slut you can't rebut, this tramp is your new champ! On the other side of the world, in front of friends, family, and former lovers, I faced the woman from hell. A woman who broke my heart, took my title, and ruined my soul. Mariah May, you sick bitch! But Mariah, I am so proud of you because you gave me the fight of my life and then I beat you with my small package. They say the best things come in small packages, but darling, you should have worn protection because I railed you with the biggest package there's ever been.
She's back.
Mariah May has been defeated. Mariah May has been exiled. Mariah May has been compromised to a permanent end. And now it's time for a cheap plug. I'm starring in the new film Queen of the Ring in theaters March 7. Do enjoy. for this championship. If I'm going to be the best, then I need to face the best. Women of wrestling, lend me your ears. Because whether you're here to stick your chin up, or your tits out, or you're Chris Statlander, or Willow Nightingale, or Wendy Bloody Richter,
Yes.
if you want to go face to face, tit to tit, or lip to lip, I'm not hard to find, darling. For God is a woman, and her name is Timeless.
Pure freaking gold. Go ahead. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
So, confession. Her promo style, I hate it. So you guys ever try to watch movies from like the 40s?
Not
and
putting up with this, AJ. Nope.
It's I'm sorry. I know.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
It's
but
nope.
it's different. I get that. I respect that. But oh my God, it's so fucking annoying. Tit to tit. Shut your fucking shut the fuck up. Like
That's
no
the
one,
character. She's
I
in
know,
the
but
character.
it's not a good one. It's terrible. Like people don't watch old movies sometimes because of the way they talk. And she's talking like, I'm sorry. I hate it. I hate it so
I'll
much.
tell you this.
I skipped that promo.
I prefer that over anything corny that Hangman said last night.
Well, it's because Hangman sucks. But
Well, she don't hang
I'm
too,
sorry.
man. What are we
I'm
doing
sorry.
here today? You guys want to tell me Jay White's awful too?
He said,
No,
Hangman said, I'm real.
Jay White is the most naked wrestler alive, even when he's wearing trunks. But I don't know. I don't know why I hate it. I hate her promo style. I can't it's nails on a chalkboard to me. I skipped it. That's the first time I heard it, and I almost took my headphones off just because I couldn't take it. It was terrible.
Yeah, well, I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah.
I actually let a couple of people listen to this today that actually doesn't even know anything about wrestling or stuff, and they thought it was quite well done, for whatever sake. But I don't know, man. I'm loving the gimmick, so it's probably maybe I liked it a little more. So I don't know, but all right, boys, that's gonna do it for the hot start, man. It's time to get to the drop kick discussion of the week, Primo. But let's hear a little word from our buddy Hartenbauer.
Hey guys, it's Hartenbauer, and you're listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast with DB, Primo, Dylan, and AJ.
All right, it's time for the dropkick discussion of the week. Time to talk about what we're going to talk about. So, outside of the WWE and AEW, there's a lot of promotions out there. Now, we're not going as far as deep as the indies. We'll do that on another podcast. But we are going to, talk about those, those kind of in between, those ones that are, just under, WWE and AEW, like TNA, and then we're going to talk some of the ones that are, kind of more in the middle, like NWA, MLW, all that kind of stuff. What we're going to talk about basically is who their champions are, who their big stars are, who we would recognize. We would have to watch a lot of these promotions wrestling, a lot, to figure out all the storylines. But, we'll just kind of give you some, small little things of what's going on there, and what's the reason why we would watch that, outside of there. So, and kind of what they're doing to get their name out there and that kind of stuff. So we're going to start off with the one right under WWE and AEW, and they've always kind of been there. Even when AEW wasn't around, they were second. They've always kind of been, either TNA or Impact. So AJ is going to take us through TNA, brother.
Don't forget when they were Global Force. Was it Global Force Wrestling? For a small period of time.
Double J, baby.
Oh God.
J.
So
double F, double R, double T.
TNA. It started in what do you want to know about TNA? They're Mr. Bird. How can I inform you on TNA?
I mean, I'd like to know who all their champions are, who they just signed, who's who's been there, for a little while, kind of carrying the company.
Well, let me tell you. They're champions right now. The world champion is, of course, Joe Hendry, who is my favorite favorite TNA champion. That
I believe in Joe Hendry.
the best. He's just the best, isn't he? And their TNA Knockouts World Champion, which, by the way, is the women's title. Knockouts, get it? TNA, because they like tit jokes.
Right.
Masha Slamovich, who is
Yeah.
also probably my favorite women's champion since, I don't know, Gail Kim. Like, I love Masha Slamovich so much. I love Joe Henry. The X Division champion, which this is the one that is making some headlines, I guess, nowadays, because it's Moose. Moose is the X. By the way, the X Division, I don't know what you guys think about the X Division, but it's I don't even know how to describe it. It is the best division for work rate, like ever.
Right.
All it is a bunch of unbelievably talented athletes getting in a ring, getting all their shit over, no selling everything, and then someone wins, and that's it until they do the next one. I love the X Division. It's so dumb. There's no psychology,
Right.
but it's fantastic. And
It's their mid-card title, right? It's
yes,
like,
yes,
it
only
was-
so much better.
yeah, it was built on like AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, those guys, like kind of the cruiserweights.
Sanjay Dutt, like
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
fucking awesome.
yeah. Petey Williams.
Petey Williams. But Moose is the current champion, and is he going to defend the belt on NXT? Is that that's a real thing?
Yeah.
That's so awesome. That
2025 wrestling.
hell yeah, I am here for it. TNA World Tag Team Champions, fucking Hardys. Like, come on, man. Like I'm sorry, Primo, but why are these guys the TNA Tag Team Champs
They'll
right
be
now?
on NXT next week
Yeah.
too.
Same.
They can barely move. Like, I want them to be ambassadors, or I want them to.
I'm gonna
the-
watch. 'Cause honestly, I haven't watched in a while. I want to see how they're moving.
That's what I think of that.
It's
Slow-
about a-
your
it's about a
opinion.
7, Primo. It's about 7.
They're,
Kind of weak.
they're moving slowly. Is how they're like them
Sure.
when they won the title back in October. Won the titles back in October, and it very much reminded me of like when Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff were in TNA. It's like old like nostalgia booking. That, oh, look at these guys were fantastic 15 years ago. Let's give them a belt, even though they clearly have lost so many steps. They need to borrow like Primo Scooter because it's just bad. Like they're very bad wrestlers nowadays. I'm sorry. I mean, they're the Hardys, they're legends, but it's, hang it up, boys. And then the Knockouts Tag Team Champions are Spitfire, who is oh God, what are their names? Who's Spitfire?
Jody Threat
Jody
and
Threat.
Danny Luna.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Those are their champions currently. And the big news is, of course, the deal that WWE and TNA have signed.
Mhm.
So, you're going to see a lot of TNA performers in the WWE, which is I really enjoyed. I think it's fucking awesome. I don't think you'll see a lot of WWE wrestlers in TNA, unfortunately.
They sent Cora Jade over. Is that the only one that's been over so
Yeah.
far?
Yeah,
Cora's been over there. Fraxium. Jack Jam.
Fraxium.
Yeah.
Been over.
Fraxium.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those aren't
Santino's daughter.
those aren't
Yeah.
big names though. Like, I mean, big names like from TNA are like Moose. Moose is a big name in TNA, and he's going
Santino
over,
was on
whereas,
NXT.
whereas WWE is like sending over like I guess Cora Jade is kind of a big name, but I don't know. I hope it's more balanced going forward. As far as people like you would recognize in TNA, there's like Hammerstone. There's a lot of indie guys, like a lot
Sure.
of indie fans of pop for Jake something, which
Mhm.
is
Something.
Something. Shout out to
Um,
him. He's hurt.
DB. I love sitting
Shout out.
next to you in any indie show that we go to where Jake something is going to be on there.
Yeah.
Because every time something.
Love him.
Then
He's a
you have the
beast.
Hardys, obviously Josh Alexander, Matt Cardona, who am I missing? Brian Myers, who I love. Brian Myers, by the way, the old.
So still TNA, still ex WWE guys like
Yeah.
AEW.
There's
It's just
not. I mean, they have
Nick Nemeth.
like homegrown
Yeah.
talent, like
I'm here to
Joe
show the
Hendry.
world.
But yeah, most of them are made their name elsewhere and
Yeah.
got fired, like Nick Nemeth or Matt Cardona or
Sure.
the Hardys or Mustafa Ali. Like it's your typical like mid card promotion, I guess, with the X division, which is fucking awesome.
Sure. All right, sounds good, Dylan. Let's move on to you, brother. Let's jump to a little Ring of Honor. Now, technically, this is still AEW, but it's the subsidiary company where a lot of people that get signed that ain't on TV are wrestling. So, what's going on in ROH, man?
Yeah, it's not the ROH we all love and remember. It's very much like the C show for AEW right now. Current champs, a bunch of names we recognize in the titles here. Jericho still has the world title for whatever reason. Athena is still the women's champ. Dustin Rhodes holds both the tag titles and the trios titles. The regular tag titles, it's him and Sammy Guevara, and he holds the trios titles with the Von Erichs. Commander is the current TV champ. Red Velvet is the current women's TV champ.
Okay.
And Lee Moriarty is the pure title holder.
Makes sense.
Some of those, I went back and watched probably a month's worth of TV for homework, if you will.
Sure.
Jericho's not had a match. He's had just a couple promos. Dustin, I don't think had a match, maybe one match in that whole month stretch. But they do have at least one of the TV titles defended pretty much every week. So you get at least some title match on their Ring of Honor show. The current storylines did get a little excited over some of this, not going to lie.
Sure.
Jericho and Bandito are setting up a match. It looks like that match is going to be on Collision instead of on a Ring of Honor show.
Jericho seems too slow for that match, but all right.
I'm kind of torn on that. Like, on one hand, they'll get more viewership on Collision than they would on Ring of Honor.
They tore up the bounty.
You got all the Ring of Honor titles, put them on Ring of Honor. Don't just have them all over AEW.
Right.
Dustin and Sammy are feuding with the MXM, the male models. That's been fairly good.
Yeah.
And Athena and Billy Starks is still, for like 2 years now, still the big women's feud. They main evented the last two final battles. Everybody thought Billy was going to win this past December. And
boy, did we ever.
Man, I still can't believe she lost that match.
Me too.
So a couple of the noticeable stars, the big names, like I said, it's really just the AEWC promotion. So a lot of the big names are all AEW guys. Jericho, Athena, Billy. The Outrunners have been on there a lot, and they've been winning a bunch of matches from what I've seen.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping maybe they're building Outrunners up for the ROH tag titles if they're not going to put the big AEW titles on them. But they're always entertaining. The Athena and Billy stuff, it's always entertaining. You do have to subscribe to watch Ring of Honor to watch the show. I want to say it's like $10 a month or something. So they'll make it easy to find. And there's really nothing on a weekly basis that is like a must see, can't miss, you have to tune in. But if you are tuning in, they do give you some quality wrestling. It's not just like a complete waste of money.
Right. And if you're an indie wrestling fan, if they're not on NXT, and they've been signed by AEW, or excuse me, and they're not on Dynamite or whatever, you could probably watch ROH and catch them, somehow. It's like the best way to see them, I guess.
Yeah, they do have, they tape the shows before or after Dynamite and Collision. So you'll get some of like the local indie people doing like squash match type stuff.
Yeah.
And AJ's favorite, Griff Grifferson, is back on there now.
Yes.
So I know he'll be tuning in. He's with the Preston Vance that used to be in the Dark Order, and I forget the guy's name now, Cole Carter or something like that. He was with Maria when Maria was with the company, but they got a little something brewing now. I don't know if it has legs on it or not, but you can tune in to Ring of Honor and watch Griff Grifferson every week.
I miss Griff Grifferson so much.
How about it? All right. So next up, Primo, let's talk a little Major League Wrestling, man. You've been telling me you've been getting into watching a little MLW lately, man. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So first, I originally started watching a little MLW last month, and then I saw that they had the Super Fight 6 coming up this month, which was perfect whenever you assigned this to me because Super Fight 6 was on February 8th. Before I get to that, let's get to their champions. So MLW has a who's who of wrestlers. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys have been paying attention to this promotion. I'm going to be honest. I wasn't as aware as I am now of who is all in this company.
You're going to enlighten me. I don't know much either.
Their heavyweight champion right now is Matt Riddle. Their women's featherweight champion is Delmi XO. The world tag team champions are Kojima and Akamura.
Okay.
The world middleweight champion is Mystico. And he's about to hit if he didn't already, he is going to hit a year soon of being the middleweight champ. And the national open weight champion is Matthew Justice. Some of their big names, like I just said, Matt Riddle, Mystico, Kojima, Mads Kruger. He leads up Contra, which is Jacob Fatu's old group.
Right.
You have Kenta. You have Minoru Suzuki, who is also in Contra now. Filthy Tom Lawler, who is with the Filthy Bros with Riddle. You have Dijak, that's where he went after WWE. You have Bobby Fish. He's in the Rogue Horsemen with the Andersons and BRG. You got Paul London over here. I didn't even realize it was Paul London because he has a gray beard.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, I didn't know that was him. But yeah, it's crazy what they had. So anyway, like I said, they have talent. And I watched Super Fight 6, and I'll tell you how that went down. So this was just the other day on February 8th, and they were in Atlanta at Center Stage, and they had Bischoff there as their executive producer.
Nice.
Oh,
I'm back.
Right out the gate, we had Alex Kane having beef with Bischoff, and even though Alex Kane was going to be in the main event in the triple threat match for the heavyweight championship against Riddle and Kojima, they after that beef they threw because Ted Turner had given Bischoff a lifetime Ted Turner award or something, so they threw his award into the crowd, and so Bischoff made Alex Kane do warm ups outside the arena.
Oh.
One of my favorite parts of this event was they have a partnership with CMLL and they have for a long time, but they had Esfinge and Templario versus Mascara Dorado and Mystico. That match was awesome. And Templario became the first one to pin Mystico. That's why that's important. And that led to him. He challenged Mystico, and now they're going to have a middleweight championship match on April 5th. Yeah. Then we had Kevin Knight versus Kenta, and Kenta won, then called out the winner of the upcoming triple threat match that was later that night for the championship. Like I said, we had the Rogue Horsemen. They're feuding with Paul London and Paul Walter Hauser.
Oh, cool.
Then the main event, like I said, Alex Kane, Kojima, and Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle retained, but after the match, Bischoff came on the big screen and told Riddle that his next title defense will be at Battle Riot 7 against 39 other individuals. Yeah.
I'm watching that.
So that makes you want to tune in, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So yeah.
You got
anyway,
40 people.
This past 2 months I've been doing of MLW has needless to say, it's made me a fan. So I'm in.
How does a 40-person match work exactly? Like, is it whoever pins whoever?
It's like it's like
Royal Rumble style.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, that's cowards.
But it's
more
more
an
than 30,
actual 40 way instead of.
I think they do there to where it's like the over the top or pinfall or submission, so it's not all. It's not exactly the Royal Rumble.
So it's last man standing.
Yeah,
where
lots
do
of
you
talent.
watch MLW, Primo? What do you get?
So they upload to YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, they upload their events to YouTube and they stream live to YouTube for free, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
And lots of good talent, like I said, and lots of luchadors. I'm excited to watch more of it. It really did make me a fan. In fact, I went down a rabbit hole today of like some of the old stuff, like back in 03, 04. Like they used to have Raven and Punk on there and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Needless to say, like I said, I'm a fan now, and like I said earlier, this year I was going to watch more of this year, so that's definitely still the plan.
Yeah, nice. All right, let's hop to NWA. So this is the promotion that I grew up watching. This is the promotion that got me hooked on wrestling as a kid. But to bring it to today's times, everybody knows that the lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan, is the owner. They have 9 titles is kind of what I come up with. And they are headed towards a pay-per-view March 22nd. I think it's called Dothan, Alabama. Dothan.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's called Hard Times, and they're having a meet and greet with Barry Windham while at there too, which I thought was super cool, right? Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Barry don't do much, man. So when he's out, man, you kind of like got to go. I was like, Alabama. Okay. So
I thought he was dead.
the champs, hush your mouth. The
I didn't want him
champs,
to be
right?
dead.
So NWA World Champions Thomas Latimer. He beat EC3 in August of 2024. The NWA TV title is Carson. Excuse me. The NWA National Heavyweight Champion is Mims, who won it in a 4-way in same month, August of 2024. The NWA TV title holder is Carson Drake. The NWA Mid-American title holder is Jeremiah Plunkett. The NWA Junior Heavyweight title, which is less than 220 pounds, from the Southern Six, Alex Taylor. The tag team, you guys recognize this name, Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch are the tag team champions.
Oh, wow.
The United States tag team champions, I was happy to see that those titles still around. Like I said, I'd watch it occasionally, but not enough to keep up with everything, but those are still around. The Country Gentlemen are the champions. The NWA women's title is champion is Kenzie Page, who beat Camille a while back. Camille now in AEW. The NWA women's TV title that I did not know was a thing. There's a lady named Big Mama who's the holder of that, and then there's also an NWA women's tag team titles. The It Girls, Ella Envy and Miss Star are the champs. So there's your champs for the NWA. Let's talk about their big stars. Okay, you heard me talk about the ones I just mentioned, but outside of that, Brian Idol. There's a tag team there called Blunt Force Trauma. If you're an old school fan of wrestling, one half of that is Willie Mack from the old days, who used to be married to Jacqueline, I believe, or may still be. And the other half is Marche Rocket, who's on the independent wrestling scene. Colby Carino's there, Daisy Kill, EC3, Homicide, Jay Bradley, Ricky Morton, Kerry Morton, Max the Impaler. One of my favorites, Silas Mason, the main reason why I watch it a lot, and a guy you guys might recognize, Aaron Stevens, who's actually been the manager of Blunt Force Trauma. What was his name in WWE? Fill me in.
Sandow.
Thank you, Damian Sandow. Yep. So noticeable things that are going on there. Aaron Stevens as a manager. The Southern Six. I'm not sure who all is in there, but I know Mason's in there. Kerry Morton, Alex Taylor. It's kind of a big faction there. Trevor Murdoch had a really good run here as NWA champion, I think a couple times. This is where Ricky Starks really broke into the big time. Like, this is where he really fucking shined. Like, he was a big deal as the TV title holder there. And you could tell he was just destined for stardom, man. Like, he was, just taking over there. I think NWA, like, to me, when I watch NWA, like, I feel like Silas Mason feels that, bill, and I feel like sooner or later he's got to hold that title. Like, he's just, I don't know, he just epitomizes kind of what NWA stands for to me. But some buzzworthy things going on about them. They are expanding all over the U.S. by partnering with territories and promotions, smaller promotions. You've seen them in Texas, in Louisville, basically, I've seen them up in like the Dakotas up there. I think a lot of, and that's really good, but I think a lot of, for them is, they need to get on a big TV channel somewhere, you know what I mean, where we can watch them more consistently and be on people's, and you can DVR it, you know what I mean. When you go on YouTube, you kind of got to go sought after it, kind of like MLW, it's the same way, but it's popular enough where, they can live. And I've checked out a few of their, pay-per-views and stuff, but I don't know, it's kind of felt like they always kind of needed a shot in the arm, a big star, somebody to get them to watching it. And it was Ricky Starks for a minute. and then he's, then he's off. So that's kind of what's going on in NWA right now. I think you would have to watch it consistently because there's so much going on there. Like I watched 4 or 5 NWA powers in a row, like, you know what I mean? And lots of stuff is going on in each one of those, you know what I mean? So they don't really carry storylines from one show to the other, but they might carry one from one, and then 2 or 3 shows down the road, they revisit something that's going on, so, but, so that is going to do it for NWA. Dylan, man, let's jump over on New Japan real quick, man, and tell us what's going on there, and then I'll finish up with CMLL and AAA.
Yeah, so just bear with me. I am a redneck guy trying to pronounce Japanese names.
Yeah,
so
you can do your best,
we will get through this. Actually, talking about New Japan at a good time. I'm kind of fired up about what's going on right now. They just had, I think it was last week and a half ago or so, the New Beginning in Osaka. Had a really big show, a couple of title changes. I'll hit on those when I read through this phone book list of champions that New Japan has. Thought the NWA was bad. So the new World Heavyweight Champ is Hiroki Goto. He just beat Zack Sabre Jr. at that New Beginning show. Goto's been wrestling like 20-something years, or over 20 years, and this is his first world title. So if you've been following New Japan, this was a really cool moment to see. I didn't think it was going to happen, but Goto finally winning the belt was a big deal. The current IWGP tag champs, this would be their like heavyweight tag titles, is Naito and Hiromu Takahashi, the LIJ boys. They beat the Young Bucks at the at that New Beginning show. Young Bucks won them back in January in their first defense. They lost them, so not much of a run for Nicholas and Matthew. The current junior heavyweight type champion is El Desperado. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Champs are Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita from the TMDK faction. The Global Champion, this used to be their U.S. champion that Omega and Moxley held back in the day. It's Takeshita right now. The TV champ is El Phantasmo. The 6-man titles belong to the House of Torture. We got Ren Narita and Sho and Yujiro Takahashi holding those. Then their strong titles are basically the titles that are defended in the U.S. Gabe Kidd is the strong openweight champ.
Yeah, he's kind of a big deal right now.
Yeah, the West Coast Wrecking Crew, Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson are the strong tag titles.
West Coast?
The never openweight title kind of floats between like the juniors and the heavyweights. That is Yoda
floating through the never. That's what I always think of when I say it.
It's Yoda Tsuji right now. Yoda Tsuji and Gabe Kidd went to like a double knockout brawl at that New Beginning show. And that match was amazing, really good. And then they have 2 women's titles that are like, they're technically New Japan titles, but they are rarely defended. Mercedes Moné has this strong women's title. It's one of the titles we see her with on AEW every week. And Mayu Iwatani is the IWGP women's champ. So yeah, probably way too many titles. They just retired a King of Pro Wrestling title. Tanahashi is the current president, like for a shoot, not like how Ric Flair was president of WCW. He had even said, I believe around the beginning of the year, that they had too many and they were going to try to get rid of a couple of them. And they did, like I said, just got rid of one of them. So maybe there will be more on the way. The big stars, it's kind of an interesting point where there's not like a huge foreign name that everybody would know, like Ospreay or Omega. Right now, the biggest foreign star would be a Zack Sabre Jr. That's not to slight him by saying he's not an Ospreay or Omega, because he's one of the best in the world. But we got Zack Sabre Jr., and then it's really just a bunch of names you might have seen in New Japan in the past or on the crossover with AEW. You got Takeshita. Takeshita is actually signed to AEW and New Japan and DDT. He's got contracts with all three of them. And then you still got your Naito, your Tanahashi, your Ishii, all those other Japanese legends out there. The big storylines, what I put down for this right now, I put just the rise of Gabe Kidd as a storyline. He had one of the match of the year contenders with Kenny Omega to start the year. Just had this big match with Yota Tsuji. He's got some buzz around him right now. Tanahashi's retiring at next Wrestle Kingdom.
Yep.
And he's kind of doing the John Cena retirement tour, if you will. But I think he said he wants to wrestle everybody on the roster. So this past month, he started with some of the young Lions, their young boys, wrestling them. And he's got a title match with Goto coming up at their anniversary show. Kind of like how AJ was talking about the Hardy Boys. Like, it's probably time for Tanahashi to hang it up. Match he had with Makabe at the New Beginning show had some spots that were kind of hard to watch in it, but it's one of those, just out of respect, you just kind of go with it and don't say too much about it. And they have their anniversary show coming up beginning of March. Like I said, Tanahashi versus Goto, and Desperados defending the junior belt against Francesco Akira. And then right after that, the New Japan Cup starts. That's their big springtime tournament, single elimination. So that should be pretty good. But yeah, right now there's several things going. Wrestle Kingdom was pretty solid. And like I said, the New Beginning show, I really liked it. So there's some fun stuff happening right now.
Yeah. All right. Let me get to CMLL and AAA on the way out here. Put it this way, I couldn't go over everything here, but let's start with CMLL. They got 14 titles. I'm not naming 14 names, but it's the oldest active promotion in the world. The world heavyweight champion is Gran Guerrero, and the light heavyweight champion is Averno, and then the middleweight champion is Templario. So many titles after that, you know what I mean? So, but some of their big stars are Mystico, Atlantis, that we've seen before. Their welterweight champ is Titan, and Gran Guerrero, probably the two best in the promotion right now. I would say probably out of the two, from doing my research. Buzzword, what I did find about them, they have a title for the mini luchas, if you will. The WLCs.
I'm sorry. The what?
The minis is the mini luchas. They have a title for them. Flip Gordon is actually in CMLL. If you guys remember him, he's the historic middleweight champion.
Is he in the minis?
No, he's not in the minis. For AAA, they got 10 titles. Their Triple A Mega Champion is a guy you guys recognize, Alberto El Patron.
Hold on.
Yeah,
thank you.
He beat Nick Nemeth at Triple Mania in 2024. Their AAA Latin American champion is El Messias, but you might know him as Mil Muertes. Used to be on Lucha Underground. Yeah. AAA World Tag Team titles are Satnam Singh and Raj Dees. And if you don't know that name, he is Jinder Mahal.
Yay!
The trios title, I just wrote this down because of their names. It's Los Psycho Circus, Dave the Clown, Murder Clown, and Panic Clown.
Yeah.
That's wild. I've seen Murder Clown before.
Are they ICP fans? Are they in ICP?
Laredo
Are they
Kid is
all Shaggy Too Dope?
No, they're right.
Laredo Kid is the cruiserweight champ. Then they also have a minis title. Conan is the booker for AAA. I remember AAA with Vikingo and Omega there for a little while, and our good friend of mine, Joe Dombrowski, that I get the pleasure of working with at Dreamwave just about every show, is one of the commentators for AAA. So there's your small little nutshell of CMLL and AAA. So I hope we learnt you up about wrestling outside of WWE and AEW tonight. So you can kind of see what's going on. Maybe something, we'll poke your interest to go check it out. So that's kind of why we visited. So good job, boys. Thank you for your research. I know you guys love it when I give you homework. So thanks for Yes,
I was thankful that I had already been on top of it beforehand. So
True. Yep. All right, boys, it's time to go home, man. Before we do, let's hear from my good buddy Bucky Collins.
Hey, this is Buck Nasty, Bucky Collins, and you're listening to Sit Down Marks.
Sit down, Marks.
I want to thank everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook and everybody listening on Apple, Spotify, Audible, SportsWire Radio. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. We appreciate it. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube live about 3 or 4 times a month. So check us out. Follow us on our social media. All right, so I want to quick before we get started here, I want to shout out to my buddy Mark Stash, man. He is one of the OG listeners of the podcast. He's been supporting it for a long time. He came to Dreamwave last weekend. He had a Sit Down Marks t-shirt on, and
let's go.
He popped me big time, man. So I want to say thank you to my good buddy,
Thanks, Mark.
Mark, and look forward to seeing you soon, buddy. All right, Dylan,
shout out, Mark.
Weekend preview, brother. But first, before we get to the weekend preview, man, so we went to Dreamwave last week, or was it 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
You know, I told you when I left here, I thought it was top 5 Dreamwave cards I've ever been a part of. Man, this was amazing. There was so much that happened. I got to do a segment with Masha Slamovich and Maggie. A lot happened. They had this bull rope match that was amazing. Hartenbauer came back. You know, I mean, I can't say too much being on the inside, but you as a fan, man, like how cool was Dreamwave last time?
Oh, it was a Dreamwave show, so it was pretty incredible. The new guys winning the tag belts from the hype, that was pretty cool for me to see.
Yeah.
The main event, like you mentioned, that dog collar match, Christian Rose coming up short to Connor Hopkins. Vic Capri joining the Coyotes, everything that was involved there. Like, that match was so brutal, so good. Hopkins came out as Punk and Rose came out as Raven, playing on that ROH Punk and Raven dog collar match.
Yep.
Maggie retaining over Brittany. Great match again. Just can't say enough good things about Dreamwave. So much happened, like you said. It's hard to remember every little thing. It was just another great night.
Yeah, go check out the replay, man. So I'm looking forward. Dreamwave 10 is coming up in April.
Yeah.
The show sold out in, I don't know, it was like
90.
Yeah, less than 90 minutes, I think, something like that. It was, fastest sellout ever. Dream Uprising 5 is coming up in April too. So anyway, Hopkins and Christian Rose are going to run it back in a cage one last time. So April's shaping up to be a big deal, and Nick Nemeth is going to be there, and he's going to be wrestling world-class Channing Thomas, man. This is going to be a big match. Nick Nemeth is also doing a meet and greet before the show, and you don't have to have a ticket to go to the meet and greet. So just a little FYI, if you want to come out and meet Nick Nemeth, a.k.a. Dolph Ziggler. Yeah.
He's such a lovely guy.
Yeah, you've gotten the pleasure of hanging out with him before, right?
Yeah, he's awesome. He's super nice.
All right, so we'll talk about that later on down the road. But Dylan, let's see what's going on this weekend, brother. What's your preview got going on?
So this week I looked at 3 different shows. Limitless up in Yarmouth, Maine. They got a big show going on. Maggie Lee and Brittany. First time ever.
I do. That's my favorite.
Maggie Lee and Becca. Sorry, not Brittany. Too many B's. Maggie Lee and Becca going one-on-one. Calvin Takeman versus Dijak. Battle of the Hosses up there. And then we got Freelance on Saturday night. Alfonso Gonzalez versus Coda Hernandez for Freelance's title. New guys making their debut versus Bang and Matthews. And CSW, Chicago Style, on Friday. They got a show up there as well. All 4 titles being defended. That's in the preview this week. Find that on my Twitter at DHagerJ15. Pinned to the top there, so pretty easy to find.
And you are not going to any shows this weekend?
I have like a stretch of 5 or 6 weeks where I don't have a show scheduled. So I got to find something to do. I got to find something to fill my time here.
Get this guy at your show. If you're a promotion up and running, you're trying to get some traction, you want some social media action, you want a guy talking about your show and putting over your wrestlers, Dylan's the guy to have at your show. So recruit him. Tell him it was D Hager J 15. So I mean, this guy's even got his own hat. He's got his own
Yeah.
hat. Dylan, tell
Yeah.
everybody where you can get the hat.
That's a great question. Go to the new guys Twitter. It's on their Big Cartel, I believe. It's called The Dylan.
Right.
It's on
Yeah.
on the new guys. Just go to the new guys social media, find their shop. It's on there.
Yeah. Well, it's been a minute, man. You know, I always like to support my boys. So
Wait, oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
I want one.
it's time. I got me a Dylan new guy's hat. I'm on board. I'm on the train. What's up, brother? You pumped or what?
Let's go. That is so awesome. I think that's the second or third hat I've seen other than my own. That is so cool. That is so
you go.
cool.
Because I'm going to order one too. I like
Go
that.
to Dylan's social media and get yourself a Dylan hat like myself. So, all right, brother, appreciate that. So, want to let everybody know to follow at Sit Down Marks on all our social media platforms, and I want to inform you too. If you're new, listen to the podcast. If you're old listener to the podcast, we have this little segment called the Easter egg segment, and it's a segment that comes on after the final music is played in the podcast, and it's where we like to joke around, tell good stories. Well, today I've got a good story. I'm going to tell you real quick about a Cactus Jack DVD that I ordered off of Whatnot. So we're going to be talking about that real quick, and that's at the end of the show. So it's this nice little minute, but you'll get a good laugh out of it. So I want to let you know, guys, if you got a product or service you want to get over with the Sit Down Marks fans, contact us on social media or at DB on the mic. That's DBONTHEMIC at yahoo.com. We'd love to work with you and advertise your product or service. So we only got one pod left this month. Next week, I'm going to be sitting down with the Viral Grunge Tribute Act. Stephen Flow is going to be on the podcast Monday. We're going to be talking about him and everything going on. He's got a show coming up in Superstars. I think it's March the 8th or 9th coming up. So we'll be talking about that with him. So make sure you're checking that out. I want to give a shout out to Bruce Hamilton, man, for being on the pod last week. It's been cool. I've gotten to talk to him for quite a long time, and it was cool to have I got to announce his first match. So it was cool to have him on the pod and get to talk to him. So go check that out in episode 147. And in case you didn't see, Bruce and Sabotage Sean Logan were breaking up Gunther and Jay on Monday Night Raw just a few Mondays ago. So that was super cool. So shout out to them.
Real quick.
Yo,
I just want to say that soundbite that Bruce cut is amazing. I loved it.
I talked to him too, and he said he did a lot of podcasts from doing strength games. He said that's a big podcast and stuff to talk about, and learning, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I could tell that he had done a bunch of those before, and man, he nailed that soundbite. Like it was amazing. So you'll hear it in the future for sure.
That became one of my favorites that we have in our inventory.
For sure. So we got some new, we've had a store going on TeePublic for quite a while, and Primo just dropped a couple fire new logo designs that actually the new guys that are coming on the pod later in the summer are going to get the brand new designs, be the first guys to get the new designs. But Primo, tell them, where can they go buy that Sit Down Marks merch?
That's right. It's your daddy here, Lucha Daddy, baby. So we're going to go to tpublic.com/stores/sit down marks. That's /stores/SITDOWNMARKS. No exclamation mark. Get on down to tpublic.com/stores/sit down marks. Get some of our new designs that we just made this year. Get some of our classic designs that we've had the whole time. You can get the new design and the old design. You can get tapestries, pillows, baby clothes, baby. Or anything in between, including a coffee mug with AJ's face on it. You can get it. So get out there, buy our stuff, show us on any social media handle that we have, and then we will plug you here on the pod. So
maybe we'll make a Sit Down Mark shirt and call it the Dylan. Primo.
Yeah, well, there you go.
There we go.
That's another thing too. I am looking for design ideas. So anytime you got reach out to the pod handles or anything like that, I'm always trying to brainstorm new graphics for the pod. So keep that in mind too. But once again, tpublic.com/stores/sit down marks, baby.
Good job, buddy. Thank you, man. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys.
I got something before we stop. This
Yeah,
is
rip
breaking news. Breaking
Break-
news. Just pulled up Instagram
Oh, hell.
from The Rock. Tomorrow night on SmackDown, the final boss returns.
Oh shit, that is good news. Breaking news, as a matter of fact.
I
Good
don't
job,
know if that is The Rock coming back or if that's just corporate Dwayne Johnson coming to thank you for showing up to SmackDown.
You know what?
But we will find out.
Yeah, we will find out.
Good
All right.
call.
It's a good segue here, boys, because I need 2 names from you. First one's first, boys. I'm gonna get you out of here on this. Who wins the Elimination Chamber? And we're gonna start with the men first. Give me one name, Primo. I'm gonna start with you. Cena, Seth, Punk, Priest, Drew, or Paul.
As much as I want Rollins to win everything, it's going to be one Chyna.
I'm going Cena too. Dylan, who beat you?
Yeah, I want it to be Punk, but I'm going Cena.
Okay. Hey Jay, who you got?
I'm actually going to say Punk. Sticking with it. I was wrong about the Rumble. Got to be right about this.
All right. And on the women's side, AJ, I'll start with you. Liv, Alexa, Bianca, Bailey, Naomi, or Roxanne Perez.
As much as I hate to say this, Bianca.
Okay. Dylan.
I'm really torn on this one. I'm going to go Alexa.
God, I hope you're right.
Primo.
You know, I'm still holding out hope that they swerve us with the whole footage of the Jade Cargill attack, and they're going to swerve us, and really it was either Bianca the whole time or Naomi the whole time. But with that being said, I agree with Dylan. I'm going Alexa.
I'm going to go with Liv. I think we're another big Liv Rhea match. I think probably maybe something crazy like a Hell in a Cell or something. So I don't know. But
What do you guys think of Charlotte picking Tiffy?
I liked it. I was going to like either one, honestly. So
yeah,
yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, we know AJ. If it says Charlotte, it's All right, don't forget to stick around for that Easter egg segment. For Dylan, for Primo, AJ, IMDb, your host, the Dirty Bird. We are Top Guys, and we are out. Okay, so I got a story for you, boys. All right, so I'm building this DVD collection for my son, pay-per-views, right? I'm buying all kind of wrestling pay-per-views. I'm buying collection DVDs, that kind of stuff for him to have, right? He's really getting into wrestling, so putting this little collection together. So I've been buying, these lots from people or whatnot, these big stacks of DVDs and stuff like that, So I'm not going to mention any names, but I get, I buy a stack, from this particular fella, on whatnot, about 5 or 6 though, and it's the greatest hits and misses of Mick Foley. It's
But I have a feeling that's not what actually is in there.
It's a 2-disc set, okay? The 2-disc set, There's 3 in here, okay?
Oh, okay.
So you open it up, and you get your Mick Foley, greatest hits in the first one,
At least you got what you paid for.
You get your Mick Foley's greatest hits, too. But then you pick this other bad boy up back here. And you got Penthouse Presents Girls on Film.
Hell yeah.
Girls on Film.
Girls on Film.
You got a bonus.
From
December
what year?
of 2008, starring Tori Black, Francesca Valentina, Sonny Lane, and Roxy DeVille. That sounds
That'll
like
be $10, all of you.
So I got a little more than I bargained for that time, So they always
That's
claim
great.
to go through. So it could have been a gift, could have been an accident. I don't know.
That had to have been intentional. There's no way that was.
But see this.
That's
I'm
it.
sure as hell ain't gonna text him about it. That's
Some
sure.
guy hiding
Who knows
behind
the
his
Cactus Jack box was the stash spot. So
My wife will never look in here.
Now from now on, every Cactus Jack DVD I look at, I'm gonna open it up like, oh, what do we got in here?
Yeah, don't open it up.
Debbie Does Dallas. What? All right, boys. Let's get out of here.
Primo.
And AJ.
And AJ.